Anatomy, if there's any basic science in School of Medicine that is really, really visual, it's gross anatomy, hence the name gross. You can see it with the naked eye. And so imaging is extremely important. And so let's take a look now as we go across. We see a regional, systemic, clinical dissection, and then we have a search bar. So by putting in here, you can search any content within AnatomyOne, but let's search something of that we want to see of a structure. So let's choose aortic arch, okay? And we click that and search. This actually look to you and say, hey, that kind of looks like a Google search engine. We use a Google search engine in AnatomyOne to make it extremely easy for any user, professor, student alike, to find content. As you're searching for the aortic arch, you'll always get a definition first with synonyms. Recognize over here that it's under the default is always text. And so anywhere aortic arch appears, you'll see these modules that if by clicking these, will take you into AnatomyOne to the area where that aortic arch is going to be located. Now, what I want to do now is show our images. By going from below text, there's one that says images, and clicking on that, notice now how this menu changes. You have an option of searching through thousands of illustrations, pro-sections or cadaver photos, radiographic images, and histology images. And that you can now constrain your search to just show illustrations, constrain your search to take a look at cadaver images, constrain your search to look at radiographic images, and I doubt there's any histology for this one. And there isn't because it's such a gross structure. But you get the idea that you're able to now very much constrain and to roll over, get a synopsis of what the image purpose is and what it's showing, and choose your pictures and say, ah, now there's a radiographic view that I'd love to see, and open up and see that image in that it's larger. Then also be able to take a look and roll over and see what these different structures are, or simply click on labels, and by clicking on each of these, identify what structure you want to see. Or if you'd like to test yourself, you can just remove all of the buttons completely. So there we have it. Now the next thing you should be asking yourself, or could be asking yourself, is, if you've got thousands of images, that is a lot of pictures to try to look through, and so how do you make it so that it's easier for your students to look at this? So this is now where an atlas comes into play. Because if this is AnatomyOne, the whole reason we love this name is that if you've got an anatomy textbook, an anatomy dissection guide, and an anatomy atlas, wouldn't it be nice if all of these things spoke to each other? So as we go across our regional systemic clinical dissection menu, our search bar, and then we got this thing that kind of looks like a funky Rubik's Cube, that's for managing your atlas. So this is now what we're going to hit next. We click on this and we're going to manage our atlases. So if all of you who are on the call already have some type of login, when you click on this, it's probably not going to show anything unless you've been fiddling with AnatomyOne. I use this currently with our first-year medical students. I use it with our second-year medical students who take a musculoskeletal block, and I use it with our fourth-year medical students who are going into their surgical discipline. So I have a lot of different atlases that I use. But here is I'm going to click and show you an atlas, and then we're going to create one. So here I've got one that's simply called my heart atlas. Shows that there's 33 images in my heart atlas, and then we can view this atlas. I can download this atlas, or I can say, this atlas displeases me, and I'm deleting it. So let's actually take a look and view this atlas first of all, my heart atlas that's got 33 images in it. And you'll notice it's got illustrations and pro-sections and radiographic images. I use this one with our first-year students that help them to know that out of all the thousands of images in AnatomyOne, these are the ones that I expect you to be able to know, and these are the ones that you'll be tested on. And this is their atlas. So why don't we go and create our own atlas, shall we? So when you click on atlases, so let's go back and show this again so you could recreate it. We're back to our home page of AnatomyOne. Go across to our Rubik's Cube that says Manage Your Atlases. Click it, and then say Create New Atlas. So we're now going to create our own atlas. The first thing that's going to give you, it says My Atlas of Images, and name this. So let's name this atlas duodenum. We'll do that one, shall we? And go Save. This is now our atlas that says duodenum. And now we want to search our images. So let's search duodenum. There we go. And all of a sudden we get lots and lots of these pictures. So if you want to see all these pictures, great. But look here that you can now constrain your search. I just want to look at first illustrations and say, now that's the illustration that shows my 4 sections of the duodenum. And there's one from a gross view. I want that one. And I want one with the pancreas. I want one, a good one with the pancreas. It's not pathologic. That's cancer, peritoneum mesentery. Let's do that one. And let's show them the retroperitoneal space. Awesome. So when you see that green check mark, it means it's in your atlas. And now let's say I also want to show histology images. So let me show that one. And then let's also get a cadaver image. And I want, oh yeah, that's a good one. And want the pancreas. I like that one. And then finally, let's take a look and say, radiographically, what do I want to show? There's a good one. There's a good one. And that one pleases me too. And say, all right, fantastic. You're done. It says return to the atlas view. So now you're going to see, bam, there's your duodenum atlas. And then say, well, I don't want this one anymore, so I'm going to get rid of that one, delete it, and say, you know what, maybe we'll teach retroperitoneal space separately, so I don't want that one, and get rid of it. And then say, well, you know what, I actually want to do histology first, so up here it says move this image and go, bam. And now you've got that at the front. And then you say, well, actually, I do want this prosection one to appear at the end, or, yeah, right there. Bing. You can move them around. So now you say, I love my atlas. It's fantastic. Or say, oh, you know what? I do need to rename this. Instead of just duodenum, let's call it duodenum atlas for metabolism and reproduction unit. And now save. So now we've got that atlas, and we're good. So now I'm going to close it, and now we're back to the atlas view. For me, I have a number of different atlases, but there's my duodenum atlas for metabolism and reproduction. I can either open it, or it says here, download. So let's see what happens when you click this one. What happens then is this is going to download this atlas into PowerPoint and be able to view this atlas in PowerPoint. And so the benefit of this is that it puts the title of the atlas, puts my name, since I'm logged into AnatomyOne. If you're in there, it would log your name in. And you go through and each of the pictures. Now, the beautiful thing about this is every single one of these elements is editable. Not like eating it, sorry, like editable. And here we've got number 1 shows a Brunner's gland. Number 2 shows simple columnar epithelium. Number 5 shows lamina propria. And if we say, well, I want to get rid of something, you can, or move something, or delete it, everything here is something you can edit. The caption appears as well, so that every image you can download and use as a PowerPoint. But if you say, well, actually I want to make it so the picture is just blank because I want to be able to show, you can get rid of the text. And then you could also, if you want to, get rid of the numbers so that all you're doing is showing the image or however you'd like to do it. The great thing about it is you can edit all of that. So there we go. Now, lastly, if you don't like it, you can also delete the atlas as well.